The AVIC-X930BT has a ton of different audio options to make your music sound awesome. Let's take a minute and we'll walk you through them.
So let's take a look at the audio settings on the AVIC-X930BT. From the home screen, touch the Settings button and go to AV Sound. Here are our AV sound settings. Let's touch Fader and Balance. Here we have a graphical representation of fade and balance within the vehicle. If I want to fade forward, I can push it forward. If I want to balance to the right, go a little to the right, or I can bring it back to the left, fade to the rear, and further over to the left. Wherever I want fade and balance to go, just touch those buttons. It's graphically represented on your screen. Let's take a look at the EQ settings on the AVIC-X930BT. I'm going to touch the EQ button. You're going to see we have a full 8-band graphic equalizer, and we have 5 EQ settings across the top. These are factory presets. Here's super bass, powerful, natural, vocal, and flat. Then we have 2 custom settings on the right. So all we have to do to change to those presets is touch one, and we're on the natural setting. Touch vocal, we move to vocal. Touch super bass, we have the super bass setting. Now, the way you use the custom settings is like this. If I like the super bass setting and it sounds good in my car, but I want to just tweak it a little bit to make it sound a little bit better, I'm going to touch the Customize button. And now I'm going to select whatever frequency I want and tweak it a little bit. I'll go to 2.5 kilohertz and we'll boost that up a little bit. Now I'll come back to 200 hertz and I'm going to cut that one back down just a little bit. And that sounds great in my car. Now, when I hit the back button, you're going to see that we're on custom number 1. So now I can go from super bass and back to custom number 1, and my settings are there. Custom number 2, when you use that, starts on the flat setting. So I'll touch custom number 2, and I have a full flat setting across the EQ. Now I'm going to make a few adjustments. We'll go to 200 hertz, adjust up. 1K, adjust down a little bit, and we'll go to 10K and adjust up a little bit. So now we're on custom number 2. We'll go back and take a look to see where that is on our settings. We're still on custom number 2. There's our custom 1, right where we left it. Vocal settings, powerful, and super bass. Now let's go one step back and we'll take a look at the loudness settings. To get into loudness, just touch that button. Loudness was turned off. Now we're on the low setting. Loudness also has a mid and a high setting. Touch it one more time and we turn loudness off. Now let's take a look at the subwoofer menu. So we'll touch the sub button. And right now the subwoofer is turned off. So let's turn it on. You'll see all the buttons light up here. First we have our phase. We can set it to reverse or to normal. Next is our level, and the level would be as compared to this frequency at 50 hertz. So we can give it a bit of a boost or a bit of a cut. And our frequency selections are 50, 63, 80, 100, and 125. Now let's go back and we'll take a look at the high-pass filter settings. High-pass filter sends only the high frequencies out to the speakers in your car and the low frequencies out to the subwoofer. So right now, high-pass filter is set to off. That would be full range running out to your speakers. We turn the high-pass filter on at 50 hertz, that's the crossover point, or 63, 80, 100, or 125 hertz for the high-pass filter. Touch it again and we turn high-pass filter off. The next item in the AV Sound Settings menu is SLA, or Source Level Adjuster. What Source Level Adjuster allows you to do is flatten out the volume change between sources. So if you've ever been listening to a CD that's recorded sort of low, then you switch to FM radio and it comes on blaring loud, you understand why you would want something like Source Level Adjuster. So for each given source, like iPod or CD or SD card or whatever you happen to be listening to, we can adjust the volume of the source as compared to FM radio. So right now, our source is iPod. And when we switch to, we touch SLA, we get plus or minus 8 decibels. So all I do here is switch to FM and set a certain volume level and listen to how loud it is. Then switch over to another source like iPod and listen to how loud that is. And I can just make a little adjustment here, a little higher or a little lower, whatever I like, to make it so that when I switch between the sources, the volume level remains the same. Now the cool thing about SLA is you have a different setting for each source. So you have one setting for CD, a different setting for iPod, another setting for SD card, and so forth. So just make sure you're on that source Then make your SLA adjustment, then switch to another source and make another SLA adjustment. The AVIC-X930BT will remember those adjustments for you. All right, now let's go back one level here and we will look at bass booster. Touch bass booster button and you see we have an overall bass adjustment that we have 6 different levels from 0 to 6. Now let's go back one menu and we will look at sonic center control. All right, now let's go back one level and we'll take a look at the last setting, which is sonic center control. Touch sonic center control and here we have a representation of your car and we can sort of shift the image over to the right, to the center, or over to the left. And this is kind of an overall image adjustment for the front of the car. Choose the setting that sounds best to you, press the back button, and we are back out to the AV Sound Settings menu.